just like the two mirrors you put together, and it's an infinite fucking.
Alright, so I refuse to deal with trying to change the recording balances, so fuck it. Hopefully, whatever we record, they can hear at least me. Alright, so let's see, it's a team game, which means coordination is key, communication is key. Um, right off the bat, you guys should be having a plan for kickoff. The idea being right now that obviously you're in the position for cheating up, so you're going to be cheating up. Corrupt is on the ball, or Dan, however the fuck you want to do it. Um, and then, depending on how the play develops, we go from there. So that should be right from the get-go. You guys should have a plan for kickoff, because otherwise, you're probably going to be beat. So see how it goes. Yep, that's exactly how it goes. It's a 50 right now. Dan should realize that he has a bit of time here, that he doesn't need to rush, that he doesn't need to go for anything crazy. You guys should also be calling that he has time. Someone needs to be anyway. Um, Zach, I'm not too upset about you going all the way to left boost because you're going to be stealing it potentially from uh, Freaking Bad or one of them. Um, Especially considering they're all clumped up in the middle, and if you guys can just push it out onto their side reasonably well, then it should be a goal. Obviously, we see that that doesn't happen, but it should be a goal. Corrupted, he is going all the way for this mid boost. Again, he just came off kickoff, so I'm fine with that as long as you guys can trust Dan to have a reasonably good touch. He doesn't even have to bang it, he just needs to have control. So let's see what happens. Okay. So he does end up completely banging it. Um, the problem with this is that there should be some idea behind this touch. Um, so here's what I see. Again, they're right there. Dan has so much space and time right now, and he can actually take this ball, wait for the bounce, and bang it out to Corrupt right now. Corrupt is the best option just because it's all the way cross field where the enemy team is like basically stuck on this side of the field. And right now, it would just be Beach versus Corrupt, and you guys have potential there. Um, you should not be rushing all the way back because, again, there's no real threat. And the idea being that we're trusting Dan to have a reasonable touch, right? So I'm fine with one flip cutting across like this, right? Because we want to get to this point eventually if we do need to stay on defense. But one flip this way allows you to potentially turn upfield if you need to, if you end up being closer to Dan's touch than Corrupt Arrow would be, right? So then the play becomes Dan passes out this way, you get the touch, and Corrupted starts going back, right? That's the idea. And then you would be, transitioning from you would be one, Corrupt potentially becomes two if Dan stays back. That's what I'm seeing right now. Um, so Dan does at least get it over two people's heads, which is nice. Um, However, no one is in the position to support him, right? Um, so right now, Corrupted, he needs to rotate this way. He already has 100, so we're not worried about him collecting pads, right? He just needs to get into this position so that way he can cover if anything goes wrong. Zach, what you need to be doing is pushing up right here, right? So you're going to be supporting, and Corrupted is going to move all the way, transition all the way over to support behind Dan, right? That's the idea. Depending on how quickly the play develops, right? So my thought process is that this ball is going to move very quickly down the field, and that's why you're going into the two position around this area, right? If it ends up being slower and there's a 50 potential maybe around here, you're going to be transitioning over. Let's go ahead and change that color. So you would be transitioning over here, right? If it's a slower play, and Corrupted will then be transitioning up here. You guys always want to create a triangle covering, um, at least midfield, whoever's on the ball, and then whoever's behind him. That's the triangle, right? Someone midfield because you don't want to cover in the same spot, and you also don't want to be on the same side, and whoever's covering. Make sense so far?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that happens. Uh, Dan chases down pre-flip to, you know, get into a 50 position, which is not bad. Considering the 50 that's about to happen, I would expect it um, to probably clear this side. I expect it to go that way just because of the way that Dan approached this ball, right? Again, this is one of those positions where you do need to be further up. Do you see how you didn't stay with the play?
Yeah.
Yeah. So uh, it's a habit of like, oh shit, it's on our side. I gotta play defense. But just make sure that you check ball cam to be like, all right, I can transition up to to be aggressive, to be ready for the next play. So Corrupted ended up going this way, which is fine. I'm not mad about it. So you would just rotate to here. You're going to be covering behind Dan, so that way Corrupted can stay in his preferred spot, and Corrupted is not going to be cutting across the field. If you ever have to cut across the field, that means something bad has happened, something wrong happened. The same deal with having to flip and go crazy to get to a ball, right? That means that you guys didn't transition properly, that the ball has gotten ahead of the play, and now you're mispositioned, and so now you're forced to, try to catch up. In this point in time, what you're going to do is just cruise. You're going to follow these pads and cruise up. You're not going to flip. You're not going to boost. You're not going to do anything. You're literally just going to cruise up because you don't know what's going to happen here. You don't know if you need to stay back or not because you're too far away to challenge any ball. You're just going to bide your time until you get into the right position. And then at that point, it either tries to go over your head and you're still far enough back to challenge it, or the play continues to develop, and so you just push to the right spot and then you stay there. All right, make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. For Corrupt, we don't want to see him go past this point until we see what happens, right? He's gonna avoid getting this close because then he's forcing you into a potentially like 1v3 situation, and you don't want to do that. All right. Nope, that's not what I meant. So let's see what happens. Yep, so the ball goes over his head like I assumed. This is why you cruise. This is why you don't go crazy pushing, because if you had boosted and gone crazy and flipped all the way over here, then it would be in an awkward spot and you would have to do, this little weird turnaround thing, right? Corrupted did a good job of not pushing too forward without knowing what the fuck was going on, so he's going to be transitioning this way. He does not need to grab this boost at all. There's literally no reason to grab it because right now you are left in defense by yourself. He does not need to be going crazy. He doesn't need to be using boost. He just needs to be on his way back using the pads that are available to him so that way he can avoid any issue, right? And this will give him all the options. Let's say you do challenge this ball and maybe it goes off the wall, right, to the middle, or maybe it goes off the corner to the middle. Doing this path means that he can turn at any point. Turn at any point. All right?
Okay.
Right now, Dan needs to be heading back on a similar path. Considering Corrupt is already going to be in position to support you, Dan is not needed too far back yet, so he can grab this pad and then head on over, unless uh, unless it gets by one of you and then Same situation applies where he just needs to get back, right? Doesn't matter if you have 100 boost if you can't save the ball. So he just has to worry about that, right? So that he just cuts that out. He just cuts this portion out and just continues going back. He also wants to rotate away from the play because obviously he doesn't want to be in your guys' way. All right, beautiful. So let's see what happens. All right. So right here, you can notice that Beach is going past this ball. Like he's not getting the touch at all. He's not reading the ball properly, which means you actually get a free touch. Pay attention to that, right? Because this free touch could potentially be a pass across to Corrupted, right? So you should both be paying attention to this. I'm not saying that this is the correct move because we do have freaking bad coming up, but that's something that we want to pay attention to. Corrupt should be like, hey, like your last back, but you got a free touch right now, right? That's the call out that needs to happen. Okay. So unfortunately, that's not what happened. We don't want to send the ball back if we don't have to, but this is not a big deal. It's basically just Dan play all over again, version 2. Okay. So let's see how much boost. All right. Okay. So 45 boost. Again, luckily 45 boost is not that big a deal. You can basically do whatever, but you literally following this path anyway, Corrupt, so there's no reason not to grab them. Alright, so let's see what happens. Okay. This happens, gets bounced back. Dan does not need to be going for this boost at all. There's no fucking reason for it. It's literally just wasting time. Again, these boost pads are here. They're here to let him turn up whenever he needs to. And right now, if Dan has ball cam on, Dan could easily be like, yo, Corrupted, off wall, boom. And then, I mean, it's just a free touch. It's a potentially free shot as well, since you just demoed one of the defenders, and freaking bad is nowhere near back post, which means that he has to be up, ready for you immediately, right? And he also had to read this potential shot pass. Um, so, unfortunately, Dan wasted time and wasted boost potential because, again, he would have been full just doing this line right here, and instead goes all the way here, and then potentially goes all the way back. And you could just cut all of his time out. Alright. So now Dan is too far away to really support Corrupted on whatever happens, and so turns into a 50. Luckily, Beach fucks it. Beach just fucks it right up. He should have taken advantage of the fact that he was closer and just taken it around Dan. Dan reads it well. Nice. Let's see what happens here. Let's see where you went. You grab that boost. That's beautiful. Right now, you do not need to be boosting. You don't need to be flipping. You don't need to be doing any of that. Because if you notice, the play is happening right here. And then Dan has all this free space to do whatever he wants, right? So what you need to be doing is not flipping, just cruising. Cruising back. Because if it gets around Dan, that's when you know that you need to rush. But until then, there's literally no threat on the ball. Do you see what I'm saying? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear it. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure you understood what I was saying.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So then you would be putting yourself in the same position as Dan is. Because again, Dan could be right here, and this now becomes a threat where Beach has to beat Dan, right? Because Beach has to turn into this when Dan can literally just cut in. right? So Dan actually beats Beach if he had done this instead and followed up. So now you just put yourself in the same position as Dan, where you're committing to flipping all the way back to defense when potential there's like offensive potential right here in front of your eyes. So just don't rush back if you don't need to.
Okay.
All right. So if you notice, because you rushed back, oh wow, I skipped way far back. Sorry. So because Dan went all the way back, then it was a rush to get into the play, which again, Beach literally could have just hit it over Dan's head right here, right now. And that's because Dan went all the way back for that corner. And then because of that situation, you went all the way back. And instead of being somewhere around uh, here, right? We again,
Uh-huh.
you could just save the ball no matter what. At least I would think that you could. I'm trusting you right now. You're my teammate. I'm sure you can aerial. Um, if you're doing this, then you're cruising, and you notice that Dan doesn't get beat to this ball. It actually turns into a 50 in your favor, and you just cut a little bit sooner. It's not that big a deal. This position, completely fine, but we're trying to do best case scenario, and best case scenario is Dan does this, and you do that. All right.
Okay.
And by doing what I said, it also makes it so that you don't get here so soon that you're like, wait, should I go? Should I? You see this where you're like unsure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So again, we have one of those situations where you're too far back, which means you're using up a lot of boosts and resources to potentially get to a ball that you're getting beat to anyway. So, and then let's see what Corrupted did. Corrupted, there's literally no reason to bet on a boost that you literally didn't just take, so you need to be grabbing these pads. Because the situation being, if you go all the way over here, and then boost doesn't spawn, and then you're needed on the play, all of a sudden you're trying to save the net with zero boost for no fucking reason. So unless you took the last pad, unless you just took it, right, like you have right now, there's no reason for you to be betting on the big boost. All right. So that's what happens. So he commits into this corner, right? He commits into this corner. Luckily, it spawns, but it spawns too late, right? And he has to turn anyway. So at the very least, he isn't like, oh shit, it spawned, let me turn around and slow myself, right? He still has boost paths to take, right? Considering where you're going, Zach, he has this path to potentially take right here. And that's enough. That's literally enough to do whatever the fuck he wants, especially considering we're trying to stay within this bubble on offense. So, but let's see. So he committed himself all the way back, which means that he is not ready to challenge, right? If he was here, he could have challenged sooner than being back here and unsure of himself. Okay, not a big deal. He gets beat to the ball. Uh, let's go a little bit further back. Okay, you had the right idea of cutting across and trying to get these pads. I don't know if your intention was to grab them and you just missed, but that's just something for you to work on because you grab those pads and you don't have to worry about this corner, which means you don't slow yourself down getting into back post rotation. And right now you
Oh,
are needed on back post rotation because you're the second man. Dan wants to be able to push up on and challenge on the ball, so that way it's easier for you to challenge afterwards. Dan, I like that you came here first. You checked net. That's good. That's a good idea. However, try to check net from back here instead. Just get into the habit of getting parallel, because if they decided to shoot it here, like shoot it instead of off the wall here, then there's potential of you blowing past this. So we just want to avoid that. We want to make sure that we cover the whole ass net. But it's not that big a deal. He pushes forward. Oh, the game just crashed. Oh my. How unfortunate.
That's great.
Yeah. When it's a team one, it's a lot of breakdown. It's a lot of like small things, and that's why it turns it into like a huge. Because it's, I mean, Rocket League's all a game of all variables. It's not like do this every single time you win. So it's just about making the right decision in the right time, in the right moment. Um, and to do that, we have to analyze what happened, what potentially could have happened, and what was the best choice to do about it. So let's see. Let's go back into it. We hadn't even gotten to the shot, I think.
No, I mean, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh, tell me it didn't just do it again. Okay. Um, but yeah, and all of these things that I'm pointing out is just potential like efficiency things that you guys could have done to keep pressure on their side of the field, and this goal potentially is your goal instead of theirs, right? Because the issue being that it kept being one of those things of sending the ball, right, and then no one to follow up, which means that you guys then got the ball sent back to you, right? And then um, it was a combination of sending the ball and it coming back, and then everybody going all the way back to then decide like, oh yeah, we can push forward. So
Right.
okay, so let's see. Okay, so I could
Yeah,
see
we're
that.
past this a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that Corrupted wasn't sure if he wanted to commit to this or not, just because one, it was uncomfortable, and two, uh, literally he's technically the last back here. However, Dan should be able to call that he's already back. Like at this distance that we have right here, Dan might as well be back because he's about to flip. Again, he should be following this line right here, and he's going to be behind Corrupted, so Corrupt should just feel comfortable going for this ball. He spurted a little bit here, which is again a bit of an issue because you don't want to waste boost. You just want to cruise into this position because you're too far back anyway. You got to wait for it. And this distance is negligible, but the boost that you wasted just to slow yourself down again is the issue, right? So the problem being you cruise to this, uh, you boosted to this position, right? Gave you that gap, which then meant that you had to pause and wait and then jump, right? So if you had just cruised instead, then this would have been, oh, let me boost and jump and get this ball. That's the difference.
Right.
That's a slight difference. And then you're just not slow to this ball. It still could have been 50, but at least it would have been a potential 50. And imagine if you were actually last back and you had committed. All right. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. do it at 50. I just want to see what happens here. So right now, I mean, Dan doesn't really have to jump, especially considering you're not in position yet, but it is what it is. I'm assuming sees beach about to shoot. That's what I'm gonna assume. And so he's trying to cut that off. Completely fine. Go ahead, jump for it. Oof. Maybe he didn't see beach. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so then what happens? Unfortunately, that puts you in a very shitty situation here. Um, but yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. So unfortunately, that was just a misread here of just like not knowing that he was there to shoot.
Right.
All right. So again, that first goal happened. Um, Defense wasn't too much of an issue. Um, there was issues of commitment. This is annoying when it gets corrupted because then I don't really see what happened here. So let's see what happened here. Again, because you were forced to go all the way back, which means that you had to stress yourself for this right here, which again wouldn't have happened if you had just cruised up to the position, because you should just realize that you're not beat, and then you wouldn't have been there for this right here, right? You wouldn't have been here to push up for this. Instead, you would have been further back, right? And then you just see this happening. You're in front of the corrupted, and you do this.
Right.
So then
Yeah,
you
then that
challenge
would
the
have been
ball.
a lot easier to challenge and
Exactly, and that would
possibly
have
get a win on the ball.
exactly that would have given you guys enough time, because Dan would have been further back, which means that the rotation isn't as stressed. I have to like close some shit out because apparently my PC bugging right now. All right, can you still see?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, so goal happens. Is what it is. It's only one goal. We still have 4 minutes 25 seconds into the match. We have plenty of time to get back. This needs again to be a call out, right? I don't know if you guys like losing. I prefer losing in threes just because I want to gain that possession, right? So I want the ball to be going somewhere around this line right here. Uh, Dan, he's going to cheat. Um, you know, grab this pad. Don't get past this point until the 50 happens, and then push up, right? And then you're going to be going this way. That's the idea. Just something as simple as like back right, Dan, cheat, boom, done.
Right. Yeah, and we call that during kickoff.
Beautiful. I think we're still at 50%. All right, so you go for the winning beat, which is fine. Okay. So at this point in time, uh, Dan should know that you went left, right? Because you guys call it off on kickoff. That means Dan knows that you should be back left, which means you're going to be committing for this ball, and Dan is going to do one of two things. Considering that Adderall, whatever the fuck his name is, already has the touch, right? We're just going to go back. We're literally going to go back because we see that I believe Corrupt is going to be trying to go for this, right? So we don't want to risk too much. We're going to literally grab these pads and then we're going to push up like this, right? Depending on how the play gets. We're not going to go crazy. We're just going to get to this point right here, that break, and then depending on how the play develops, right? If we're on defense, we stay on defense, right, until we have a teammate behind us. Or if we're on offense, then we push up. Uh, Corrupt, he took the unfortunate need of going ball side. It's not that big a deal. It's not the worst thing in the world. He's literally just going to go all the way around. He's going to go all the way around because he doesn't want to be in anybody's way right now, right? Um, he sees that there's already two people on potentially, so maybe one flip doesn't really matter. Um, and we're going to follow this line, and that allows us, right, to then turn if we need to, right? So then Dan will be three. Dan will be three. You're going to be one over here, right?
Mhm.
You're going to be attacking this ball because you have somebody behind you because you don't have to worry about it. And then Corrupt, he's actually going to turn upfield now in case you actually get this, right? And he's going to be two. Look at that. This defensive rotation that's covering every option possible also means that you have the opportunity to be a passing potential right there. Um, so again, Dan just needs to respect that we called back left, so I'm not going to get in my teammates' way. There's no reason for me to go for the same boost that my kickoff partner is going for. There's no reason to be on the same fucking side as my teammate already has the better 50. Let's just get the fuck out of the way and wait for my turn. All right. So it ends up being like all the way back here. Again, Corrupted can grab this and then follow the same line. If Dan was uh, if Dan was back here, oh, what the hell? I swear I picked this color. If Dan was back here, right, or heading all the way like that, then you would probably feel comfortable to commit to this ball, right? Because now
Yeah.
you see both your teammates in front of you. You're like, ah, shit, do I go? You don't, because you're last back, and if you get beat, it's a free fucking goal. So that means it slows down your play into offense. Okay, I like this. You went to you can cut here onto front rotation, right? Because you have teammates coming up behind you, and there's no reason for you to go here when you're immediately going to be
Mhm.
pushing here, and someone's already behind you, right? So that's a good idea. Um, see, so we're going to adapt, right? Unfortunately, Dan chose to do that. Whatever, it's not the worst thing in the world. Dan needs to be following this line right here to get back. And Corrupt, um, again, that boost is taken. So Corrupt needs to grab this pad, right? And then because we're grabbing pads, we see that this is open, right? But this is only open if we have protection. So you went to front post, Dan has back post, right? And so Corrupted now has the opportunity to snatch up this boost and then follow his way back to back post because we have the net completely covered. There's no reason to have a third guy protecting the same net. All right?
Yeah.
But that relies on Dan getting to back post correctly. That relies on you challenging the ball correctly. Okay? So at least you guys end up in the right position, right? Where Corrupted ends up covering the net and then pushing forward when you grab this ball, and Dan is going to come up behind him, right? At least you guys got into the right position. The only reason the other way was more correct than this way is because it doesn't confuse anybody. Nobody is confused about cutting rotation because no one's cutting anybody, right? And that's the key to not double committing. That's the key to making sure that you guys are uh, as fast as possible is by clearing up any confusion right? So you don't need to
Yeah.
calm that like, oh, I'm going for back boost. Okay, I'll cover back net. You don't need to calm that because you guys are just following the right order. All right, beautiful. Okay, good idea to grab session. You didn't need to grab this boost though. I like the idea. Unfortunately, you gave up. So right here, this is just a mechanical thing of being able to pick it up and dribble. Um, so I'm not going to fault you for it. It was a great decision to not bang the ball right now
Hmm.
because potentially you just throw the ball straight to Adder rolling, and he just takes it, right? Because
Yeah.
if you fucking bang this way, Adder rolling is just going to take the ball and bang it right back into your net. So I like this. It buys your teammates time. It gives you a moment, right? The issue being that as soon as you're not able to gain possession here, right? You don't have a teammate behind you. That means you need to commit to the flick. You could literally just, even if you double jump, that would have been better. But if you just jump and then forward flip or quarter flip, you're gonna hit it right over Adderall, and all of a sudden you guys are pushing towards offense, right? So you might not have boost, but at least you're pushing towards offense. Now let's figure out why don't you have boost, or did you? I mean, you had 23. So again, we don't bet on the big boost. We just follow the paths, and then you would have had boost for that. You would have had a lot more boost than what you did have. Okay, that's unfortunate. Dan gets up behind you, so that's fine. But then he throws the ball away. So right here, literally, you guys have all of this open field to regain possession and start offense, right? Throwing
Hmm.
this ball just means that they get a free touch. They literally just get a free ball. Um, because at this point, what you guys are
Yeah.
diamond-ish. Okay. So admittedly, at diamond, no one knows how to fucking defend the net. So this could potentially work of like banging it all the way into their side of the field. But I'm assuming because you guys are diamond, you also don't know how to fucking bang the ball up with appropriate speed and power. Either way, you guys are in the same positions, so you need to be grabbing this ball and setting up a play, right? Um, Depending on what it is, literally, Beach comes forward, and then Dan flicks it right, and you're grabbing, right? And then
Okay.
Corrupted, he's gonna, check net because you guys are so close to defense. He's gonna check net. Um, he can even go all the way back here if he wants to. Doesn't matter. And then he's gonna slowly put up with you guys, depending on how the play develops, right? And so Dan has the passing opportunity for you, and you become one. Dan can follow as two, and then Corrupted ends up being three around here, right? And so let's color code it. Dan's red. He's going to be pushing up like this. You're yellow. You're going to be one over here, right? And then Corrupted. He's going to be following behind you guys like this.
Okay.
Just don't throw the ball when there's literally like two people already ready for it. And if you remember, literally the only times we throw the ball is to relieve pressure or it's a free net, and it's neither one of those things are happening or are needed. Okay, so here's the situation. Here's what I'm seeing. All right. Oh, what the fuck? I don't want to be black. Let's keep you on yellow, right? So
Okay.
you just need to be getting into position. You don't need to be boosting or anything because nothing is happening right now, and Corrupted has to get past one guy who's very ready for the ball, and it has to be in a place that Beach can't jump up for, right? So until that's happened, we don't want to be boosting, trying to get into a position that we already were out of, right? There's no reason to go all the way here when it's already too late. We should have been here already. Oh well, we're not gonna fucking waste resources trying to make a play happen. Because there's just so much time. We don't need to worry about it. We're gonna get our opportunity when it happens. Dan does not need to be going all the way the fuck back. This is threes. This is offense. He he doesn't need to be really pushing past this bubble at all on offense, right? So Dan, um, it's fine to check this middle. You shouldn't have done it in the first place, but whatever. We're gonna adapt. We're gonna grab this pad. We're gonna grab this pad, and then we're gonna push up. That's 3 pads. That's almost 40 boost. That's more than enough to do whatever you need to. And then depending on how the play develops, you're going to grab this one, you can grab this one, or you just go, right? And then it's a free shot. Um, because we see that Dan had rotated ball side, that means that we need to be covering this side of the pitch for you, which I now respect you going this way for, right? It's a little bit awkward, but you guys have to adapt. Dan is going to be replacing your position right now, and you're going to be replacing Dan because you have the forward momentum, you have the boost, and you're ready for the touch. Dan needs to collect himself and then get back into it. All right, so let's see what happens after we fucking delete this bullshit. Okay. So that happens, right? Again, the pathing was to do this, right? To cruise this way. Oh god,
Mm-hmm.
why is it like that? Yeah, the pathing was to cruise this way, um, just because it basically covers a lot of options. But I'm fine with this. This is not a big deal. We also notice that we're still getting beats to this ball, right? And it would be fine for you to commit to this, right? It would be fine if Dan had done this, right? Because then Dan is right there, ready for the next touch. He's in the play. But because Dan went all the way through the corner, unfortunately, that means that you guys are basically just playing twos right now. And the second that you get beat to this ball, you guys are now back into defense in case this ball gets around you as well and goes this way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what happens. All right. Luckily, it goes into your guys' favor. Nice. Let's go ahead and capitalize on that. Let's see this rotation. So this happens. Michi throws the ball, which is nice for us, right? We're going to capitalize when they throw the ball as much as possible. Um, he's going to get beat. All right. And what needs to happen is that either Dan calls that you're going to go here, right, and shoot this, or you need to get the fuck out. Because then Corrupted is taking this ball. He's now 2, you're going to be 3.
Okay.
Okay?
I think I got called to start a demo because I was circling chasing somebody in the net.
Okay. Yeah. Don't. Uh, the call for demo should be because someone already has possession and is about to shoot. That's the call for demo, right? Demos happen in threes when you already have a shot anywhere, actually. When you already have a shot potential, right? Or you're already rotating out, and so you might as well bump somebody, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's see what happens. So it doesn't matter if you bump somebody right here, because not only does Adderall not even need to worry about it with Freak coming around the corner, but you guys haven't even managed to get a shot yet. So even if you bump him now, there's nothing to do, right? And then Dan ends up bumping him anyway, and then Freak still gets it. So again, there was just no reason for it. You could have been back here and then ready for the next touch.
Okay.
Oh my god, tell me I didn't just fuck it again. Okay. So that ends up being one of these things where that puts you guys all the way back. And yep. Okay. Again, someone needs to be going like back here to cover corrupt, right? It ends up being
Yeah.
one of these things where Zach ends up in front of Dan. So, I mean, preferred you go this way, but you're on the wall, which means that it's going to be too much effort for you to do all that, right? So you're going to point yourself down, jump, and you're going to land, and then you're going to land that much quicker, right? You end up getting this boost, whatever, right? Dan should already be going this way. Uh, like he needs to cut across like that and go through. There's no reason to commit to this mid because depending on what Adderall does it, right? Adderall should be taking this boost from you guys, right? And even if he doesn't, you have it. Do you see what I mean? So Zach is in front,
Yeah.
which means you're gonna grab it. And if you don't grab it, Adderall grabs it. So either way, Dan is shit out of luck and should be grabbing pads. He should not be committing to this corner boost because right now, like, you guys need to get on defense. Whoever can get there first. Whatever, it's not that big a deal. So it's going out to mid, right? And then he has a shot potential. This is where you have to get into the position to cover net right now, right? We don't have the luxury of doing this any longer because like we're beat to this ball. So the idea being that if Dan had taken the correct path, he would have done this. So you can feel free to do this. Do you see?
I got you.
Yeah. So preferably you're there to cover the close and Dan is there to cover the back. And this shot would not have gone in. But unfortunately, it did start at the bump attempt, which it is what it is. Okay. So they didn't cheat. This is awesome, right? Because it means that you guys have all the potential in the world to do whatever the fuck you want with this ball, right? Have forced them to come into your zone to do whatever you want, right? They both also decided to push this way. No one is covering net right now, and no one has cheated, which means you have all the space in the world to do whatever the fuck you want. Someone needs to be calling that you have time. Someone needs to be calling that you have the freest fucking ball to touch right now. There should be no panic. There should be like, all right, fuck yeah. Let me go ahead and set myself up. You know, let me get my couch together. Let's get the fucking footrest out. I'm about to bang this fucking ball.
Right.
Let me get comfortable, right? So I don't completely fault Dan here because obviously he has ball cam on, which means he can't see in front of him, right? immediately it needs to be called that no one cheated and that he has a touch, right? So Zach, you see the play right now. You need to calm like, yo, you get a free touch, right? And Dan, his job is to realize that no one has cheated with him, and he needs to know that he can take advantage of it. So you both should be on the
Okay.
same wavelength of no one cheated, right? And you're on the wavelength of they're too far back and they're pushing up, free touch, because this is a free
Okay.
net potentially. Okay. Um, I'm assuming the idea was to do this and Dan goes. Is that the idea? To pass forward
I'm
to?
assuming, yeah. Yeah, I was going up for a pass, and I think he seen that he was beat, so he backed off. So I just went for the 50.
Okay. So he plays it safe. That's fine because right now it is a 50 potential. Um, it really depends on what the comms were to be like, yo, I got a free touch right here, or like I'm beating. It is what it is. I'm not mad he goes back because hey, it's a 50. It's not a free. It's not a completely free touch from his point of view. Whenever he goes back, right? The call out should be there because you have corrupted back in case there needs to be defense. And if you notice this and this, it means that corrupt literally gets a free touch after Beach commits to this, right? So there's no worry of uh, shot potential on your side of the field. So unless corrupt just completely astronomically fucks up, uh, he's gonna get a free touch. So it is okay to you know play a little bit on the dangerous side and ask for a pass, right? Because at the end of the day, there's no real threat.
Right.
Uh, he does this. It is what it is. It commits him back, right? Unfortunately, that also means that Corrupted now has to do this, which is again fine. He goes up. Good. I like it. I'm just telling you guys about a potential, but that doesn't mean it's an end all be all. So at this point, he sees that that happens. All right. I like that you guys converged onto defense, respectively. Okay. Again, just don't throw this ball here, right? There's a potential pass, and I think that's what you're seeing. So one of them has to be ready. Corrupt is the one for this pass right now. Doesn't happen. It's unfortunate. Okay. Dan just needs to be grabbing pads. Um, also, let's see. Cause Dan. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Dan doesn't see what's happening here. It's not that big a deal. Um, but right now the transition should be that you are pushing here, right? Corrupted is going to be rotating this way, right? Because he's already facing forward. Um, he's already facing forward, and Dan is already facing back, so he needs to be doing this. He needs to be getting into position to cover the backside of it, right? And that doesn't mean that we're going to get here super fast. This just means that this is the position that's going to be taken if we go into offense. If we stay on defense, then he still has the option to do this, right? Or to cut it completely if he needs to immediately, right? But we're not going to be committing to this because here's the scenario that happens, right? the scenario that happens is that, first of all, Adderall just takes it, right? Adderall takes it. Now Dan has zero boost, right? Dan beats him to the ball, and Adderall skips and grabs this boost. So Dan's not stealing boost from Adderall, right? And if you guys go into offense and Dan takes this and turns around, oh god, let's change the color. Dan takes this and goes around. Now he's going to be using boosts. He's going to be using flips to commit himself into offense, which is what we don't want, right? He wants to be in the position already, because if he's not, then that means that he has lost an opportunity to shoot. He has lost an opportunity to challenge, to pass. He's given up pressure to grab this boost just to use it to get back. So in every situation, there was no reason to do it. So let's see what happens. This gets taken. Okay. Yeah. This gets taken. He's not. Again, luckily, he doesn't put himself out, right? Because there's no way he's beating them to this ball. So he just does this, right? And now he's in back post. Preferably, back here. So he sees the whole ass pitch, and he's ready for those passes. He would have been here. And, I mean, that's just an easy potential pass for Corrupted. Or he just takes it up the wall. Or if he's really insane, he can go this way with it. Because it's not really that hard. Because he literally has all this space right here from, here to here to decide what he wants to do with it.
Right.
Whatever. It forces him into a panicked, flip because, again, he committed for the boost, didn't get the boost, and now he kind of has to play around with basically zero boost. Zach, that was a beautiful rotation. Corrupt, he did the right thing as well. These are great defense rotations right here. Zach, just try to grab those pads. Just try your best to grab them.
Okay.
Because it really, oh my god. This always happens when it's like a long game that's not my file. Here's hoping that
Oh, it froze on you again?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, dude, when my team was doing like the qualifiers, and like we had to do those replay reviews, holy shit.
Yeah.
We added like an extra 30 minutes of just replay reviewing because of the fact that it kept crashing. It's just insane. I don't know why it does it.
Maybe because you're recording right now, or
No, it literally has
just
nothing to do.
somebody else's file.
Yeah, literally long games with someone else's file. Like it, if you go back and forth too much, the game just doesn't like it, right? Because the game is technically recreating everything. It's not like a actual replay. It's not like actual footage, which means that it gets a little bit buggy because it's like, wait, where were these cars? Where were these vehicles?
Right.
Okay. Oh, tell me I didn't just do it again. See what I mean? I'm jumping through it too quickly. So that tends to happen. Okay. Okay. So there's unfortunate panic here. little bit further. All right. So here's the situation. All right. Corrupted gets this ball. All right. He's one. This is the defensive rotation. Corrupted is getting this ball right now. He is one. Right. Dan, he needs to be moving the fuck out of the way. He's gonna actually follow basically your same rotation and doing this. Right. Dan is gonna be three in this position. Uh, Corrupt is going to be one, and you're going to be two. Right? That's what the situation needs right now, and that's how it's going to go. There's no reason for Dan to cut across like this, right? Because even though there's potential of you going like, um, there's potential of you going like this, right? And Dan cuts across, right? That's the idea, right? This is very high level stuff. You guys are not high level, unfortunately. So we're gonna make this as simple as possible. You fucking win championships by making sure you never get scored on, and this is the play. This is how you do it, right? Um, because Corrupted is already gonna be on this ball. There's no way that Dan turns around in time to do it. Not to say anything about his skill level, it's just that's difficult to do, incredibly difficult to do, and that's something that like GCs and pros can do. Unfortunately, I don't think you guys are fast enough for that. So let's just not even worry about it. Let's get out of our teammates' way, right? And so Corrupted is going to get for this ball. And then the play, the idea should be that Corrupted takes the ball, out here, right? Let's say a 50 happens. Say a 50-50 happens right here. Now it's your turn to go onto this ball. Hopefully it's a free ball, right? Maybe they do the same thing, and now you have a passing outlet uh, to Dan, or sorry, to Corrupt. This is too much information at once.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if he takes it up, and if he continues, then
Yeah.
I'm next to go. I'm second, so I could pass it up to him.
Exactly.
But it didn't work out like that.
Yeah, potentially Dan can push up here and Corrupted can go for this right now, but it looks like Corrupted is already coming in at an awkward spot. So Corrupt, like, he can call it. He could be like, yo, Dan, I see you. If that happens, then Dan, go ahead, move forward. Be ready for that pass. I respect it. It looks like Corrupt didn't do that. It looks like he basically, not a panic touch, but he basically got the touch that he could. He couldn't really do much more than that. So whatever, Dan just rotates back to third, and so now it's going to be smooth transition. Hopefully you guys get it out, but either way, we don't want to overcommit, right? Um, Luckily, they're pushing up like crazy, which means that as long as we do this correctly, we should get this out pretty reasonably into a teammate's hand. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay. Corrupted didn't call out for a pass, so Dan doesn't go forward. Whatever, it's not that big a deal. Dan is going to be rotating like this. He needs to get out of his teammate's way. He needs to be ready for the next touch. Because what happens is that Corrupted goes, right? Then all of a sudden, the next ball comes, right? And so now Dan is here, and he shouldn't be going for this ball, right? He should not be going for this ball. But here's what mentally happens, where Zach, you see him, and then you're scared to go right away, right? So now there's hesitation caused, and then there's the potential that you both double commit, and then no one's ready for the next touch, right? So we want to avoid that as much as possible. And what that means is that Dan just gets the fuck out of the way. Now he's ready for when, if Zach fucks up, or if Zach gets a touch and then they send another ball to the net, or if Zach gets a shitty touch and there's an immediate threat, now Dan is in the right position to cover, and it gives Corrupt time to grab some pads, grab some boost, and get right behind Dan. And it's just a continuous cycle like that until you guys get good touches out to each other, right? And then we're not going to throw
Yeah,
the ball.
exactly.
Yeah, we're not going to throw the ball away, right? The only times we're banging the ball is if we're banging it to a teammate, or we need to relieve pressure, or again, that there's a free empty net, but there's not a free empty net right now. So what needs to happen is that Corrupt goes for this ball. There's no reason for you to be jumping, right? Because there's no threat. Right now, I mean, this needs to be called, but don't panic here, dude. Like you're okay, right? Because Corrupted is still on this wall, ready for an attack, and even if he's not, Freak, the only thing Freak can do, it's right next to the fucking wall. Unless Freak is a god, there's no way he's angling this in a way that not only gets past you, right? Because you're ready for it here, and goes in, right? It's most likely it's gonna hit the wall and either pinch this way or pinch this way.
Right.
So don't panic, don't give them possession, don't double commit. So this is what happens, right? Unfortunately, you guys double commit. Um, it is what it is. Dan is left by himself. Dan is also left in a shitty spot, facing this way, uh, because he didn't do this, right? So he's not ready for whatever's happening, and luckily, you guys aren't being punished for it, right? But if
Yeah.
Beach was facing this way, right, and Adderall was here, this now becomes, oh, here, pass, shot. Obviously,
Right.
that's not what's happening right now, but we're assuming that you guys are eventually going to be playing people that are better, people who understand what they need to be doing, and this is what I would be worried about, and this covers that. This doesn't. And he doesn't know that this isn't happening, right? Because I know there's no comms. So right now, Dan literally cannot see Adderall. He can only see Beach.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we don't call out a whole
Yeah,
lot except for left, right, or
exactly. So he doesn't know that Adderall is potentially right there, ready for a shot in case this ball ever goes middle. And that's the problem, right? So if we were to change his position around, he's not in his teammates' way. He's not scaring his teammates. He's not committing any doubles. Um, Luckily, he doesn't do any of that right here. But he would have potentially bumped you or made this awkward if you had stayed in the right position in the first place, right? Um, so we're talking about efficiency here. If you had stayed in the right place, then it would have been awkward. Luckily, that doesn't happen because you guys panic anyway. But if he goes here, then he sees this while he's doing this, right? And he sees that there's no shot potential. All right. He also sees, if he had done that, would have noticed that Ad is going back, and he can see Beach going back. And he knows that this guy's right here, which means, again, this becomes a free touch. This becomes a free play into the enemy half, right? And he just needs to not send this ball. Because if he sends the ball, they just have the potential of sending it right back or gaining control. And the problem being that sending this ball means he's obviously not going to be on the ball, right? Because he just sent it, and no one else on his team, even if they were here, would be able to follow this up.
right.
And you guys don't need to relieve pressure right now. Because if you notice, no one's attacking you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no one's attacking you. So take advantage. Force them to do something. Right? Allow your teammates to get into the play with you. Because I mean, you could play ones all you want, but it's fucking difficult to get past one defender. It's fucking difficult to get past two.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, he's already rotating out, so hey, I like the bump. You're already rotating out, so sure. It's already in your way. It's not like you're putting yourself out of position to do so. Like the bump. Beautiful. You got teammates behind you. Good to go. Zach, you need to be going this way. You could potentially grab this pad because, again, it's already in front of you. It's not out of your way to do it. And right now, you're too far away to jump for it, right? So there's no reason to be speeding for it when they potentially get the touch. So let them get the
Right.
touch, whatever they're going to touch, and then go directly after them, right? You don't have to wait for them, right? It just means that you're essentially playing to the speed that you're able to without putting yourself out of position. And corrupt,
Okay.
I like this. You're going to be hovering around this area. So this is Corrupt's diamond. Until we see what's going on with the play. Dan, good demo. And then he needs to be going out, right? So depending on what the play, how the play develops, if he has time, he can go ahead and grab this boost. You're stealing the boost from them, which is why it's good. And then you're going to rotate around, and it potentially becomes this, right? Or it potentially becomes this, depending on where he's needed.
Okay. Yeah, that makes so.
Yep. And
That has a lot of sense right there.
you're going to be going like this, right? And you're going to hit it, depending on how it goes. Maybe you hit it off the wall, right? Corrupt. He's going to be attacking this ball. He's going to shoot. Maybe they defend it, right? And it goes this way. Let's say. Maybe it goes this way. So now, what's his name? Dan. He can go back into the attack, right? You just went, which means you want to be rotating away from the ball, which means you go this way, right?
Yeah.
Depending on where it is, preferably you grab these pads, right? And then you're going to turn this way, right? So that's the rotation. And then, since you're here, Dan's here, that means Corrupt can grab this pad now. Now he's stealing boost from this side. So now you guys have stolen both corners. You guys are still in offense. That's the idea. Stay in offense for as long as you can, because that's probably going to lead to a goal. Dan goes all the way back just to grab this boost, then go all the way front. So we're wasting time, right? And we're wasting boost when we could be on offense right now. Okay. So it is what it is. Again, Zach, you should have been closer, but like I said, it is what it is.
Yeah, I thought Corrupt would turn. That's why.
No worries. So you're on offense right now. You do have a shot potential, but you also have two defenders. There's no reason for you to be shooting with two defenders.
Okay.
So preferably, since you have no one on their backboard, you're going to hit it off this wall, right? Force them up. And Corrupt, him being, the smart player, he's going to be here already, right? And depending on what they do, he either just goes back, right? Or if they don't touch it, he shoots and you guys score. Unfortunately, you throw it at the net when, again, there's two defenders there, which means they're just going to read this. And what a fucking insane 50. What an insane 50. And if you notice, Dan should have followed the boost pad, so he has more boost, and he needs to be going here. He needs to check that back post net because there's no reason to be going after this at this moment in time. Corrupt just had the touch. And if that happens, then he would have been ready for this. Look at this. He just takes the ball. He literally just takes the ball. There's no panic. There's no rush. No one's wasting boost. No one's wasting time. Literally, it's just a free touch. It's hard to do sometimes, though. So, whatever. Puts himself in an awkward spot. Luckily, they don't capitalize, right? Weird little bump right there. And now your teammates are pushing on the same exact ball. Luckily, your enemies are dumb, right? They push up way too much. They continuously are doing that, by the way. Pushing up way too much. So no one's ready for a potential pass shot, right? Which would have been an issue since Dan is right here instead of right here. Luckily, they're not punishing you guys for that. Whatever, let's go ahead and adapt. Corrupt literally just got his boost stolen. There's no reason for him to be pushing up on this ball, especially considering he knows that he has a teammate behind him. Dan should be calling for the ball right now already, and Corrupt should just be getting out of his way. Because Dan is here instead of here, it means that now Corrupt can't get pads on his way back. Sorry, got distracted by her.
No, you're fine.
It means that Corrupt can't get pads on his way back, which sucks. It is what it is. It's not as efficient, but it's not that big a deal because you guys are potentially going on offense, and he potentially has a free shot. Right? If he was back here, he probably would have had a better shot. But it is what it is. Let's go ahead and adapt. Let's make sure that Dan is calling for this ball. Let's make sure that Corrupt respects that he already has a teammate behind him and that he does not need to be rushing for a ball. He just needs to be getting ready for the next touch. Okay. Nice 50. Again, you guys aren't punished for this. But if you notice, if Adderall beats Dan, he's also beating Corrupted. They might as well be the same exact fucking player right now. And if you are now stuck in a bad position because, again, you got bumped. Right? Now you're trying to get back. And the net is completely wide the fuck open. So, Corrupted was here. That doesn't happen. And he doesn't need to be here because literally he does nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
What's up? Do you have questions? What's up?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, you should see this. Wait, who the fuck is that? That's not anybody. You should see all those things, right? I'm pretty certain it's bouncing off of. Either way, it's going this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get a free touch. This I'm not upset about. Oh well, you turn around instead to do that. It's literally the decision of left and right of being slightly slower. By the way, it's not that big a deal because you're still getting a free touch because you guys need to abuse the fact that they literally just sent you a free ball, right? So you can literally pass this out to Corrupted, right? Corrupt is ready for the play right now. So that's what needs to happen. Either way, doesn't matter how you get there, you get a free touch, pass it to Corrupt. That's what needs to be happening. There's no reason to stay on defense because there's no pressure. Yeah. What's up with this?
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah. So that really slows down any momentum that you guys have, especially since you then um, go for this, which again we don't need, right? There's pads everywhere. There's pads everywhere on the field. Um, so let's not waste time to grab this just to go back, because that means that's all the time spent that we're not ready for the ball. So depending on what they do, if they send the ball back to you, awesome. But let's make sure that if Corrupt goes, takes out a defender, and Dan goes, takes out another defender, that you're then ready to shoot, and maybe you score, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just take out another defender, but then Corrupted is now ready to take out another defender. Do you see what I mean? It's got to keep up that rotation. So just make sure that you're not going all the way back when you guys are on offense. Because if you notice, that could have been a shot.
Yeah, that was a pass right there.
Yep. So uh, if you had just gone like this, or I don't know what the fuck this was, where you rotated into the net or whatever. Whatever, it's not that big a deal. But if you had literally just done this, cruised again, we have boost to go forward, we don't have boost to go back, so we're just gonna cruise into this spot, and then we're gonna beat. Because as soon as we see that Corrupt goes and that Dan is about to get a touch, that's when we realize that, like, hey, like, this is a shot potential. We're going to push. So that's an opportunity that we lost. That's unfortunate. Again, the issue being that Dan goes across on ball side, right? So, all right, Zach, we lost the potential. Whatever, we're going to adapt. We're going to keep going, right? Dan needed to be rotating back this side. Let me go and change the camera so that way we can see the whole play. Dan needs to be going this side. He needs to be collecting pads and then turning back in if he needs to, turning all the way across if he needs to, or continuously going back if he needs to. Either way, he needs to be out of the fucking way, because the play now becomes, shit, they missed. Zach, you're gonna go, right? You're gonna potentially hit this ball, so you're gonna, bang it off the wall, right? And Corrupted just gets a free shot. Bang it off this wall. Corrupted still gets a free shot. Fucking pop it in the air. Corrupted still gets a free shot, right? And Dan going into this corner just to take it now means that Corrupted is like, well, shit, do I go? Right? Because now my teammate is in this corner and Zach just went, which means if I go right now, this is me thinking as Corrupted, if I go right now, I'm putting us all out of position and we potentially get scored on, and now this becomes a 3-point deficit instead of a 2-point deficit, right? So it's too much risk to go forward on a shot, even if I might have it, because now Dan is in front of me and Dan is in my way.
Right.
So whatever, Dan goes for the corner. It is what it is. It's still Corrupted's ball, right? So now by going rotating ball side, we have confused the rotation, and Dan, for some other reason, is turning for this ball, right? At the end of the day, Corrupted, sees this, and Corrupted now has to turn away, right? At the end of the day, Corrupted can now turn away, and it minimizes the risk. The issue being that Dan has now confused the rotation, which means Corrupted now has to reposition himself, which he's already been committing to this ball because this is a potential shot for him. This is a potentially free shot for him. And so he's wasted boost, and now he has to boost out to make sure he doesn't, you know, get caught out essentially as last man, right? So now he's wasted this just to do this, and while he's doing this portion right here, while this is happening, that's all the time spent that could have potentially scored us a goal, right? So now
Yeah.
you're forcing your third man out of rotation, which means he might as well have gone all the way back for corner boost because that's literally what you just told him to do, right? That
Right.
he might as well not be here at all. So if Dan had,
Exactly.
yeah, so if Dan had done this originally, then again we're following the rotation. Corrupted, he gets a free touch. Maybe he doesn't score it. Maybe he doesn't score it. But either way, he has gotten a defender out, and you guys are still on offense. And now Dan can follow up. Dan literally, now it's Dan's turn to get a free touch. Maybe Dan goes all the way around here, right? And Zach, again, we want to be rotating away from the play. And so you're going to be following this. Depending on how quickly you're going to go, most likely these pads are already going to be spawning for you. If this pad is up, you can go ahead and grab it because you guys have two people on offense. You're not needed right away. Looks like one of their teammates took it, so you're going to follow this line. And again, you could potentially do this depending on what the play is, or you just continue, right? And you're rotating around, and now it's 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3 without any fucking interruption. Imagine doing that to somebody, right? Of just like 1-2-3, continuously being on offense, and they run out of boost. They run out of like they're just mentally fatiguing themselves because they're like, oh shit, I gotta save. Oh shit, I gotta save.
Hmm.
But we lost all that potential. We just got to make sure that the rotation is clear, so that way nothing is confused. Do you see how quickly it deflates?
Yeah.
Again, Zach, you should have already been going left, which means you've been over here. All right, that's
I
what.
think in my defense, right there in my head, I thought maybe he might since Dan turned, he might have had a shot. That's why I went up on the wall
Yep.
to try to move out of his way. But then it made me rotate ball side.
Yeah. Which I mean, it is what it is. You adapted to what was going on. You were getting out of Dan's way, so respect to that because potentially it was going to go across like this, and then that just forces corrupted to do this, right? And then you're going to go back. So
Right.
I, you know, you adapted correctly, which is nice. Um, but that shouldn't have been the thing in the first place. Is the idea. All right, Zach, beautiful. You get the fuck out of your teammate's way, which is basically signaling that corrupt could go at any time. However, you don't want to be cutting all the way across, right? Especially considering corrupt's by himself. This would have been fine. This right here would have and should have been your route.
Okay.
So you're gonna get right behind corrupted. So now, because here's the situation, right? You got out of your teammate's way, which is nice, right? It means that like, yo, I'm not gonna fuck you up. I'm not gonna take your touch. This is your ball. Go touch it, right?
Hmm.
So that's what that's signaling. But making sure that you're rotating behind him so that way he's not last back also tells him like, yo, even if you fuck up, I got you, fam, right? So
Yeah.
now he feels secure in his decision to challenge. And even if he doesn't get a 50, even if he doesn't get a touch, at least he has made Beach give up the ball, which means you get a free touch, right? So now you're behind him, you get a free touch, and Corrupt is back up here, and now it's a pass. That's how it
Gotcha.
transitions. So you just want to be able to support your teammate. You should always have somebody supporting your teammate. And then that's what causes this goal. So again, Dan didn't rotate away from the ball, which put you guys into defense, right? It diffused your offensive potential, so it took you guys away from offense and put you into defense. And then Zach, you went all the way across for boost when you need to be grabbing pads on the way back. Again, you're getting out of your teammate's way, but you're also defending the net because no one is back except for Corrupt. right? So you don't want to leave your teammate by himself. And then all those things added together has caused this to happen.
Yep.
Okay. Beautiful. Oof. Okay. So Dan tries to save you. I respect it. So it's not that big a deal because you were forced back here. You really wanted this middle, but it is what it is. You were forced back here, um, which means that you were too far away to challenge, which means Dan is okay to disrupt them, right? Corrupted needs to be going this way. He needs to be getting behind Dan. Dan should be the next one up. That's the idea right now. Do not cut that rotation because if Corrupted cuts that rotation, then Dan, thinking and knowing that he should be the next one going in, then has to do this, go forward, see that Corrupted is cutting him, and then have to do this. And that's just
Right.
wasted momentum, right? Because if you guys do end up on offense, if you guys do end up on this side of the field, right, it just slows your third player down, which again means that he might as well have gone to one of these back corner boosts and put himself out of position. You're forcing your teammate to go out of position, right? Because if Corrupted does this, then it's all one fluid motion of Dan going forward and then Corrupted going forward. No one's turning around. And if you notice, Dan could have gotten that touch. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. So Dan could have gotten that touch right here if Corrupted didn't force Dan to turn back around, which means Dan doesn't get blown up. Corrupted would have been already behind Dan, even if he does get blown up, which means that he would have been parallel to the net. So this isn't a difficult read anymore, right? Because now he doesn't have to guess whether or not he needs to go left or right. He just has to move right if he has to move right, right? You officially cut off that 50-50 shot.
And then this is sheer panic.
Yeah. And at this point, it looks like you guys just give up to get another 2 goals. Dan, you by going up this wall and not reading it, you have officially signaled that you're going back and Zach is going up onto this touch. So Corrupt needs to be heading back, right? He doesn't want to bump into Dan, preferably. So he's going to follow this route. Preferably he jumps and goes like this because at this point Dan wants to grab boost and Dan is going to go here. We both know that Dan is going to go here. So it is what it is. Dan needs boost. He's going to grab the big bad. At least this way he has 2 defenders before Dan has to go up. And now he still has this.
Right.
But the moment you turn, it's fucking 3s. It's not 1s. Don't fucking fake challenge unless you're trying to buy your teammate time. Otherwise, just fucking get out of the way. Because then this is what happens. causes you to turn around, which then puts you and Dan in an awkward spot where you both are basically the same fucking player. Um, Dan needs to realize that you're in front, so Dan needs to go here, and you go onto the ball, right? If you're in front, Dan needs to stay back, defend the net, while you challenge the ball, and then depending on what happens, Dan can move forward or he stays where he needs to be. All right. So now this is a bump potential, right? I think Dan wants to pass to you. That would be my guess. That would make the most sense, right? If Dan passes to
Yeah.
you. Um, but maybe he panics a little bit because Adderall is right in front of him. So he shoots it over his head and it's going towards the net. I can't draw a straight line. I'm too tired for this. But either way, it goes over Adderallin's head and is going towards the net. Now this is one of
Uh-huh.
those potentials where you bump and all of a sudden it's a goal because there's only one defender left, and you guys already have a possession that's going into a shot. So yeah, definitely fucking go out of your way for a bump right there. So that's just a shot. And then again,
There-
you guys
Yeah.
are rotating ball side, rotating ball side, rotating ball side. You guys have a teammate back. Just let your teammate touch it. Literally, just let your teammate touch it. Zach, you should be getting ready. You should be two. Dan needs to be fucking hitting back so he can be three. Just let your teammate touch it. What the fuck is the point of having a teammate if you're never gonna play with them? So that
Is
causes,
your head hurting yet?
yeah. Admittedly, it gets frustrating after a while, but
Yeah.
um. So whatever, we're gonna adapt. We realize that we fucked up. We got in our teammates' way, which potentially could have put us in a shitty spot. Um, so this happens, which means that this happens, which means that this has to happen, right? And
Mhm.
this has to happen, right?
Yeah.
Again, if Dan had just gone this way, right, and you trusting your teammate, you know that you have a third man back, right? So Dan is going to be rotating because he knows that he needs to get to three because three just got replaced. Zach, you would have felt comfortable doing this, right? And now, instead of Dan having to travel all the way over here for this pass, um, which means that he lets the defenders catch up, Zach, you would have just shot. That's the difference. All right, so whatever. Dan is pretty quick, fantastic. Uh, this ends up being like this instead of like this, right?
Mhm.
So luckily, Dan is close enough to get to this ball. Do not go all the way the fuck back though. We gotta stay in offense. We gotta be ready because if we notice what happens, right? The overarching idea is now you can do this. So you
Yeah.
guys stay pressured. You guys stay in pressure. Look at them. This guy is fucking uh, near post. We already talked about why near post is an issue, right? So let's abuse it. Let's abuse the fact that he is near post. If Dan had gone this way, then a pass could have gone this way.
It's just
Look,
a clusterfuck.
look at this shot. Look at it's so much free realty. So here's where the cluster comes up, right? So then you go all the way back, which then tells corrupted, right, uh, that you're too far back for this contest. Corrupted already should not be going for this ball. He should already be heading this way along these booth paths, right? So that you can go and then he can follow up behind you. But because you went all the way back, he, in his mind, in his subconscious, he's like, oh shit, we're giving up offense again. Like, he wants to cut in. And because he's rotating ball side, he's bound to cut in, which means you're going to be slowing yourself down, and Corrupted is just going to get a shitty 50. If he even touches the ball, right? So it either becomes a shitty 50, or he doesn't even touch the ball. I seriously doubt that there's any situation where he somehow beats this guy. First of all, that he somehow beats this guy and then still gets it past this guy or this guy. There's just fucking no way. So if you notice, he rotates ball side, which then you're like, shit, he's gonna go for this, which then turns you around, which now means no one's fucking challenging this ball. They just got all that free real estate for free. Look at this shit. You guys are in the same spot, so you might as well be the same exact players. Dan is all the way the fuck out of the play. So it's literally just a 3v1. Because you guys are the same players, and he is nowhere to be seen. So it's just a 3v1.
Yep.
Which causes this, which then causes that. Trust your teammate, dude. This is one of those situations of, not me. That shit too complicated. Not me, right? And we know that our teammate is behind us. We know that our teammate, reasonably, we're going to assume that our teammate can do anything that we can do, which means our teammate gets this touch just for free. Which means you get to go back here and then turn up field, because now it's a pass. Now it's a pass.
Mm.
Don't stay underneath the ball. There's no reason. You have a teammate. Don't fuck it. Don't take your touch away from your teammate, and don't make it awkward for your teammate to go.
Okay.
Because I'm sure you didn't feel good when Corrupted almost cut you off. So that's the same situation that you're putting on Dan. And Dan literally, I can probably see his thoughts of like, oh shit, Zach's there. I'm not. Now I need to rush to get the touch before Zach fucks it up for me, and then that ends up being the touch. Oh well, Dan just needs to not fucking go for this. Whatever, he goes for the boost. Whatever. He needs to at least be doing this. Because if this is a shot, right? Here's my mental breakdown. Uh, we don't know where they are, but Dan can assume that someone's behind him, ready to take this shot, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so here's the scenario. If Dan goes here, and this shot already happened, Dan's not catching up to the ball. All right? Dan, so he gets here, and then does nothing anyway, right? If the ball ends up here, around this area, then now he has a shitty ankle, which means that he can't do anything. And even if it does end up here, Corrupted just takes the ball across. So either way, Dan heading this way has been useless the whole time. I think he then corrects himself to get this big pad, which he didn't
Mm-hmm.
even need because I'm pretty certain he just got middle, right? And here's the scenario: someone's behind him. He's going for this pad, right? And now, yeah, you can cover it. Awesome, you can cover it, right? But the situation, uh, being that if he needed to cover this net, he wouldn't have been there, right? And he's not. He needs to cover this in case it needs to happen because that's the only thing that he can cover. Otherwise, corrupt just takes the ball across, right? So if he does this, realizes that he doesn't need to cover this, right? He doesn't need to cover this anymore because
He could have turned up field.
exactly, you got it. Yeah, he could have turned upfield, and now it's safe, right? Because if he's turning upfield for a potential pass or shot or whatever, and you are covering the net, you're checking with the net and then pushing up because you're the one retreating. There's no reason. So at this point, I feel like you guys were just like, fuck it. No reason for you to be going for a pinch or anything because someone is already on their side of the field. So even if you pinch it, they're just gonna get a free touch. Um, and right now, so here's what I'm seeing. Corrupted should be calling out that no one in your corner, basically that you get a free touch. Corrupted has a view of the whole ass field right now. He knows that someone's behind him, which means that they're not near you. He can see both of the opponents here, so he needs to be calling that you have time. Then Dan feels comfortable doing this because then you pick up the ball and then you flick it left. Just don't throw the ball. Don't give up that possession. Um, man, I just have no comment on that.
He was put in either not give a fuck mode or just panic mode.
Yeah. Dan's same situation of just like right now there's no threat, but he's really committing himself to this and basically putting both of you out of position, right? All for what? To just push it down there the field. I guess at 1 minute you guys are desperate to just do something. So whatever, that happens. Corrupted right now completely cuts off uh, back post, even though literally you guys are covering near post, which means that you guys are all now covering the same side of the field. He literally just could have done this. He doesn't even have to check. He doesn't have to come in from the rear post because there's no immediate threat. He just needs to check and put himself at a better angle. So he doesn't do that. He literally doesn't even do this. Does this, which means nothing is getting covered right now. Puts this in an awkward spot. I guess again, it's not that big a deal. Like he could still touch this away. Um, you guys are diamond. Unfortunately, some mechanics aren't like the most consistent that they could be. So he just put himself in an awkward spot for no reason. Like, have you ever gone on kickoff, right, and the ball bounces off this wall right here, and you're here, right?
Mhm.
So my recommendation, or maybe you're coming off of kickoff and you're going like this, right? When the ball is bouncing like that, like why put yourself in that spot? You have time to do this, so do it. Why put yourself in a shitty spot?
Right.
Still happens. Okay. How the fuck does Dan end up all the way the fuck on their side? Okay, whatever. He's literally flipping for a boost that doesn't exist right now. Then doesn't get a boost because again it doesn't exist. I'm literally just paying attention to this stuff because this is all the stuff that would typically be punished. Again, you guys are playing at the lower rank, so luckily nothing crazy is happening. But every, even though you're not needed on the play on defense, just making yourselves that much faster, you literally just start beating people because they can't keep up with you. At that point, it's not even like, what is the metagame? It's just, hey, let's shit on kids because we're faster, because we're more efficient with our boosts, we're more efficient with our positioning, we're just faster.
Right. Yeah. Can get put all in the right all the right spots.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't even been paying attention. Okay, you rolled off the wall, that's why it's not happening. So, Corrupted did what he should have done earlier, right? Where he's not putting himself in a shitty spot for no reason. And look at that, he saves it. And look at that. So then you guys get into this threes position, right? Again, Corrupted should not be going for this wall because that just interrupts this from happening, right? And this could be so much cleaner. Watch what happens. So he doesn't even get the touch anyway, right? And you have the touch, right? And he could have been doing this already. The whole time he could have been doing this, which means he would have been here with a whole bunch of boosts, and he would have been in the same exact spot without risking any fucking thing, right? Because if the ball escapes from you guys and someone needs to be back, he would be back.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you should have been rotating away, right? So then when he gets to this point, you're rotating back. So without risking a
Okay.
goddamn thing, you guys would have accomplished the same exact stuff. Because then what happens if this ball right here doesn't get put in? Then you guys are in the same spot, right? You guys are in the same spot, and no one's there to follow up. And if
This
you,
was the first game too,
yeah,
because the first one they sweeped us 6-0.
yeah. So okay, and yeah, the end game doesn't really tell us much because it's basically 0 seconds and everyone's fucking around. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me I've been recording. Okay. Um, hopefully I've been recording that whole